Good afternoon, everybody. I thought I finally found my space to do some sharing or talking. I actually intended today to talk about agriculture. I am a very proud Aggie faculty. For the past 2 weeks that I was assisting in the enrollment for the first semester, many students had been interviewed online or through email. Why did they choose the disciplines or the major fields that they have chosen? And I sort of read some of the answers, and I started asking myself, how about me? Did I choose agriculture? But yeah, I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking whether I'm going to answer that question. But anyway, let me show you first this particular area. I'm in the middle of a rice field again. I'm just going to do a 360 degrees to show you. I think I'm still in Barangay Simaya. I'm still at the foot of Mount Capistrano, and I saw this particular spot and I stopped because it is too beautiful to let it pass. So it's around 3:35 in the afternoon, and the temperature is just right. The sun is just hidden away by the clouds, and it's pretty cool, although it's still warm, but pretty cool. So look at that. Behind me is the majestic Mount Capistrano, as well as the majestic row of coconut, one of my favorite fruits, Cocos nucifera, which I really love. So yep, see that. By the way, I like the contrast of the green rice fields and my UP shirt. This was a gift by BG Ramos, the eldest son of Kuya Greg Ramos, and I'm just very grateful to wear this shirt. Of course, I'm a proud maroon. So it's just a beautiful day today. I'm going to show you that if you're in the province, there are just so many places you could go to and wind during the weekend, because the work week had been really tough in the last few weeks. So yep, still having so many things to do next week, but to take a break is always good, and it's good for the heart, it's good for the spirit, it's good for mental health, and by Monday you're just ready to do the task at hand. So I'm still thinking whether I'm going to answer the question, did I choose agriculture? Yep, I'll try to answer it. I actually did not choose agriculture. Many of my closest friends would know that my undergraduate degree was BS Biology, major in genetics, and I did not choose agriculture. Way back in my senior high school, all I wanted was to pursue 3 possible fields: medicine, human medicine, to be a medical doctor, and if it doesn't pan out, then I wanted to be a journalist, and if it doesn't work out, then I wanted to be a lawyer. All 3 things didn't happen, because actually before graduation, some people from UP Los Baños came to my high school and gave us an examination. I didn't know that it was actually UPCAT, and actually I passed. I think there were 3 of us from my high school who passed the UPCAT. With that qualification for the UPCAT, I was given a scholarship. It was the Agricultural and Rural Development Scholarship. So I was the eldest. I didn't know anything about UP Los Baños actually. All I wanted was to go to Xavier University. But when I got the telegram, it was telegram during the time, when I got the telegram that I passed the UPCAT and I had a scholarship, my mother and I decided that I'm going without any question. So I went to UPLB, and that's what I did. I pursued BS Biology, major in genetics, hoping that after graduation I would take medicine at UP Manila, but it also did not happen. So when I finished my undergraduate at UPLB, I learned that I had a clause in my contract that after I graduate, I have to go back to my home province, and that is Bukidnon. And I have to work in my home province for the number of years that the ARDS was paying for my scholarship. So I had no choice but to honor the contract that I had signed on, and off I came home to my beloved Bukidnon, my home. But actually before that, the story is, well, the short answer to the question, did I choose agriculture? I did not. I think it was the universe that chose it for me, because there are so many events that I could now recall and list down that it seems that my pathway would be going to agriculture. So before I became a junior student at UPLB, we had to interview for our major discipline, and of course I was already set on genetics, and so I had to go through an interview. And I found out actually that a few weeks after the interview, I was actually assigned to be an thesis advisee of Dr. Violeta Villegas. Dr. Viol is actually a plant breeder. She works on fruit or plantation crops, and she's based at the Institute of Plant Breeding. And when I came to see her, she was very welcoming, and she gave me a workspace at IPB. So I had to go there every Tuesdays and Thursdays when I was in my third year. And in my senior year, when I was full-blown into my thesis work, I was almost there daily. So that was the first, signal that I'm not going into medicine. Because Dr. Jenna Diaz, who interviewed me during that time, she was my instructor for my genetics 11, my basic genetics class, I think, had made the decision to give me an assignment to a plant breeder. So that's what happened, and I liked what I did. I loved what I did. For my thesis, I was working on passion fruit, and my thesis was about understanding more of its self-incompatibility problem. And I had so much fun trying to learn much about it. I was working in the greenhouses, in the field, and was doing a lot of microscopy work, both in the lab of Dr. Villegas and in the lab of Dr. Brar at the International Research Rice Institute. So my pathway was really leading into plants. Well, maybe even before that, I have shared in my vlog, one of my earliest vlogs, that my father was a farmer, and I grew up working and helping in the farm. I even worked in some people's farms to earn some money, for school and to share a bit to the family, even when I was very tiny. So I think that's it. And when I graduated, well, another thing is that before I graduated, I got involved in the UPLB volunteers group for Pinatubo. I was part of the third batch of UPLB volunteers who were managed and supervised by the formidable Dr. Oscar Zamora. We call him Tatay. And I volunteered for Zambales, one of the sites in Zambales where they relocated the Aita communities that were displaced when Mount Pinatubo erupted 2 or 3 years earlier. And I was a volunteer for the summer of my junior year, and I continued to volunteer until my senior year. And after graduation, actually, I sort of got the hint that Dr. Zamora wanted to offer me a job at community organizing. So I was not ready to go home to Bukidnon. I knew that I could find work in UPLB, but I also had to honor my contract. So I came home and found myself asking for some job vacancies at Central Mindanao University. I learned that there was a vacancy at the College of Agriculture, and there was another vacancy at the College of Arts and Sciences. I applied for both, but I was taken by the College of Agriculture. I never knew anyone in CMU, and nobody knew about me, but the screening committee at the College of Agriculture may have seen something in me and fought to hire me. And so I started working as a neophyte instructor in July, just a few months after my graduation, and I found myself teaching many students who were bigger than me, tougher than me. And there was a funny story of a class that I had to convince so hard that I was their instructor, because I was very little and I was very naive maybe, and I was just actually in my shirt and jeans, and they couldn't believe that I was their instructor. But that's it. And I was studying both night and day because I had biology. I understood enough of agriculture because I grew up in the farm, and I actually loved how I was able to apply the concepts I learned in biology into crop production. And so I was really struggling but also enjoying being a teacher, which I swore I was never going to be. My mother was a high school teacher, and I said I'm never gonna teach, and I ended up being a teacher. So after a few years, I got a scholarship to pursue masters again at UPLB, and that was a scholarship from Circa 8th degree, and I had to take masters in plant genetic resources conservation and management. And after I finished that, I came back to CMU, and I got back to work more excited and more committed to really do a lot of good things for CMU, and I think that's what I did. In a few years, I again qualified for a scholarship with the Fulbright Philippine Agriculture Scholarship Program to go to the US, specifically at the state of Illinois in the Midwest, to pursue PhD in crop sciences, major in plant breeding and genetics at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. It's a very huge university. It sits on two big cities, Champaign and Urbana, and on average semesters there would be around 44,000 students, more or less, and around 140,000 countries are represented by the students alone. So it was a very diverse community, and it was just 2 hours away from Chicago. And my PhD supervisor was the amazing Dr. Randy Nelson, who was very kind to me. He was over 6 feet in height, and I was barely 5 feet, and so it was actually an interesting mentorship. But he was so kind, and I learned so much, and he was very generous to me. After I came home, finishing my PhD, my purpose and mission in life became more clear, that I'm going to be a farmer. I'm going to be a people farmer. And I actually wanted to farm. We have a farm and no one is really managing it right now, but maybe when I retire, I would really be the one to manage the farm. But while I'm not doing that yet, I always believe in my heart that I am a farmer. I try to grow people. I try to cultivate them with all the knowledge I have, with all the skills I have, and with all the values that I know that are good and essential for every citizen, for every student that I would handle, who would be in my class, and that they're supposed to be very good citizens for nation building. And yeah, so that's a very long answer. So the short answer was, I did not choose agriculture. It was the universe, the world, who chose agriculture for me. So that's my story. I don't know what else to say, but I'm glad I am having that conversation, so thank you. If you want to support me, please like and subscribe and comment and share also your stories in the comment section below, and click on the notification bell so that you would be notified whenever I have a new vlog uploaded. And before I leave, I just want to say thank you so much. And I'm just grateful for this opportunity to do this thing. So it gives me something different to work on weekends, and I think I like doing this conversation. So I'm gonna say bye. Sorry, it's a video. I thought it's a photo. Well, whatever.